Hello, Dominic here. I'm the Festival Director of the Bournemouth Writing Festival and really looking forward to welcoming you down to Bournemouth on the 26th, 27th and 28th of April 2024, where we have over 80 writing events and activities to inspire you to write. It doesn't matter if you are at the very beginning of your writing journey or you've already published a couple of books. We want to help you improve and progress your writing. Now, amongst those 80 plus activities and events, we have one-to-ones with literary agents, we have writing on the beach, we have some free activities all across Bournemouth, including the bandstand in the lower gardens, where we will have a poetry machine where you can get a poem written for you free of charge, as well as have a go on some old school typewriters to do some writing. Now, amongst some of those talks, we have a published writer who I'm very excited to join me today is Kathleen Whyman, and she is doing a talk on writing with a sense of humour on Saturday at 12 o'clock. Now, Kathleen is a freelance journalist who has turned author and has published 2 books already, The Wife's Support System, which I've read, and Would You Ask My Husband That? And she also has a 3rd book coming out in the summer. Kathleen has been shortlisted for the Comedy Women in Print Prize, as well as the Romantic Novelists Association's Romantic Comedy of the Year. Oh my gosh, I hope I screwed that up, but hopefully, Kathleen, you can put me right. So hi, Kathleen.
Hello, thanks so much for me. And don't worry, it's a bit of a mouthful, all of that. It'd be nice if you say I won, because that would have been quicker to say the shortlisted. Made it easier. But thank you very much for having me. And I'm thrilled to be taking part in the Bournemouth Writing Festival.
Wonderful. So Kathleen, tell us a little bit about your writing journey. So going from journalism through to being a published award-winning author.
Well, I've always loved writing books. In fact, I started in primary school. I wrote my first book, The Ghost of Cripple Creek, when I was 10, and I sent it off to a publisher. It had illustrations and everything, but sadly, it was rejected. I can't think why. And then I've still got the letter saying, thank you very much for submitting. It's not quite there yet, but keep writing. But they didn't return the book, which I'm still sad about. But yes, I kept writing all through my teens. But then I think I discovered alcohol and going out and boys, and the writing fell by the wayside a bit. But I loved it enough to get into journalism and was very happy to be writing for a career. But I was really missing writing for myself, fiction, and started doing it in my own time around having children. And in fact, my first book, Wife Support System, was inspired by having children, because I was with my friends and saying, oh, we're all juggling, looking after the kids, childcare, careers, time for ourselves, while the husbands aren't around. We should all move in together and help each other out. And that is the exact premise of Wife Support System. And then loved doing it so much, I took a step back from full-time journalism to freelance so that I could focus on my writing. And then wrote Would You Ask My Husband That? And my next book, which will be coming out this summer, and that was the one that was shortlisted for the Comedy Women in Print Prize. And I just feel very, very lucky and privileged to be able to do this as a career.
And have you always written comedy or humorous writing, or is that a new thing, or did you think, no, that's my genre, or is it what you've been reading?
I've always written with humour. I kind of liken my writing to banter, as if I'm chatting with friends. Well, I hope it is banter. They might think I'm being really boring. But yes, that is definitely my style. I do have serious scenes in the books, and I find those almost harder to write, actually. It's just because they're not as chatty, but it is needed. You need the light and the shade. At the same time, having said that, quite often a paragraph or a chapter will take me longer than usual, because I keep thinking I can make that funnier. I keep having to keep going back to it and over and over. Whereas if I was just writing a straight scene, then I could just get it down and walk away. But I keep trying to refine it. But no, that is my natural style. However, comedy writing is like any skill, you can be taught it. So if it's what people are interested, they can definitely learn how to do it.
So you don't have to be funny. You don't have to be, telling jokes all the time, because like, you know, when you hear about comedians, you know, they always said, oh, I was bullied at school and I, you know, kind of got out of that by being funny and taking a mickey and that. So people coming to your talk, do they have to be intrinsically funny, or I suppose, like, how does somebody inject wit and humor into their writing?
I don't think you have to. Definitely don't be a stand-up comedian. Don't have to be a stand-up comedian. I mean, if you were writing a murder book, I would hope you're not a murderer. So there are definitely, yeah, things you can inject. I would say, look at what you find funny, both in books and in TV and film, because obviously someone's written those scripts, and work out why it's funny to you, what you're appreciating about it, and how you could work that into your own writing. And it could be that it's not necessarily you want to write a comedic novel. It could be that you just want some warmth and humor to outset a tense, dark, traumatic scene or something. Like I said, the light and the shade. And yes, this workshop will show you ways to do that.
And I suppose also could be one character that is, you know, brings a bit of light relief into your, you know, serious fiction or whatever it might be. So I suppose there's lots of different avenues into how you can inject humor into your manuscript.
Exactly. Dialogue and character are an excellent way to do it. And yes, it could be a book that's a serious subject matter, but there is a character who is very witty, or quite often not intentionally just blunders through life and says things that maybe they shouldn't say but everyone wants to say. Or for example, I know The Office is obviously a comedy, but David Brent's character, he's not trying to be funny, is he? It's just everything he says is funny because it's so ridiculous. And so you could have a character that not necessarily like that, but a character that is bringing the humor in to alleviate and add some warmth into your story.
And do you find there is a line then, a line that you can't cross, that, you know, that borders on whether that's funny or offensive, or should we as writers kind of not worry about that?
Definitely don't be offensive. You don't want to insult anybody, and certainly stray away from anything that would hurt people and that's unkind. You could have, unless it's a character, I suppose, that is brought down a peg or two maybe for saying the wrong things. But I think you do need to write what you find funny. Don't worry too much about what other people are going to think while you're writing. Just get it all out, and then have a soundboard, a writing group, a friend who is honest enough to say if it's not funny, to make sure that it is amusing to everybody. But yes, definitely I will talk about that pitfalls to avoid. Definitely don't offend anybody. No.
That's really important, isn't it? You know, that's that balance of being funny but, you know, not being offensive, because, you know, at the moment in the world there's so much controversy and, you know, people doing it for likes and clicks and things like that. So Kathleen, what will people that come to your talk learn? You know, what will be their takeaways?
I would say, well, we've talked about how using humour can feel risky. We said about not offending anybody. Humour is very subjective. What you find funny, they might not. You don't want to lose your audience. And I'll show you how to incorporate that humour into your writing without losing sight of your plot. Something very important to remember is that the humour is there to support your story, not the other way around. We'll look at examples of where humour has been used, how you can learn from these, and I go through writing exercises to help you develop your own comic styles. We'll be looking at situation, character and dialogue, timing, delivery and language, the rule of three, finding inspiration, and those pitfalls to avoid.
Well, it sounds absolutely fascinating, and I think it's going to be really popular because it just gives a little extra dimension to people's writing, doesn't it? You know, you kind of write along, but then if you have a little bit of a something different in there, or a character, as you said, you know, injecting and something, you know, just kind of being varying the writing style a little bit, might just lift it off the page. So I think it's going to be fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much. And yeah, whatever your writing style or genre, I think humour always enhances it. There's almost every situation you will find some benefit in having a little bit of warmth and wit in there. And so that's what I'm here to help you with.
Definitely. Okay, great. Thank you, Kathleen Whyman. Her talk, Writing with a Sense of Humour, is going to be on Saturday, the 27th of April 2024 at 12 o'clock in the Pavilion Dance. Thank you so much, Kathleen, for spending the time talking to me today, and look forward to seeing you in Bournemouth, because you live in, where do you live? In Hertfordshire, London?
Yeah, Hitch in Hertfordshire. I'm really looking forward. I love Bournemouth. I come down quite regularly anyway. So I'm really looking forward to coming down and meeting everyone. And thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Well, that's wonderful that you're coming all the way down to our little part of the country for our writing festival and talking about this really fascinating subject. So we'll see you at 12 o'clock on Saturday, 27th of April at the Bournemouth Writing Festival. So thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you. And you. See you there.